welcome to BQ Prime. You're joining us on this special broadcast where we are talking to Mr. Vaidyanathan, the MD and CEO of IDFC FIRST Bank. Of course, the bank reported its quarterly results for the December quarter on Saturday. And now we're joining Mr. Vaidyanathan. Welcome, sir, to BQ Prime. And thank you so much for taking the time out. So quickly, firstly, this 2x rise in profit, I just wanted to get a sense from you. How is this coming through? What exactly contributed to this profit growth?
Very simple actually, because our operating leverage is now kicking in, meaning that the loan book has grown by 25%, but the operating profit, core operating profit, NII plus fees minus OPEX, we call it core, no treasury. Core is up 70%. So how can core go 70% and loan book grow 25%? That's coming because the operating leverage is coming in. So that then provisions are very modest. And that has become profit.
Okay. I saw that the retail book is of course contributing quite strongly to your loan growth of 25%, of a 36% rise in the retail portfolio. Is this sort of there is the culmination of all these years of effort towards focusing on the retail SME piece? Is that showing up now?
It always is like that, you know. Any success today is maybe work done 4 years ago. So yes, you know, more than growth, frankly, every bank is growing at 20% plus these days on retail loans, and blend is about 17 for the country overall credit. So it's not so much the growth; it is the fact that the bank is doing this at a very low credit cost, and that is a matter of something we are very proud about. You see, our gross NPA of retail is now come down to 1.7%.
Right.
Net NPA is 0.7% net, and our own internal now target we are shooting for is actually 0.5% net NPA. Okay. So that is something for us to be really very proud about.
Talking about the retail quality of the retail growth, I'm just curious to understand. There is talk of sort of a macroeconomic slowdown. Some countries going into recession. India's story has been pretty resilient all through. But do you think that at some point in time, some of those effects will start showing locally as well?
See, we should always be very careful in lending because you can never let your guard down. But one very important thing to note is actually India has gone through 5 distinct credit, let me say, crisis over the last 12 years, to my memory. You know, 10 to 14 was that economic slowdown of the, you know, interest rates rising and all that. Then 2016 was GST. 2016 was the demonetization. It's a big event. 2017 was GST. It was a big event. 2018 was the ILFS crisis. 2020 was COVID. There is something resilient about the retail customer because they're very bothered about the credit bureau scores, and there's something resilient there.
So, are you seeing that sort of behavior across the board, or is it a certain category of customers who are careful?
Across the board. You know, I find that people are very sensitive about the credit bureau scores these days. You find me one person who says, "Look, I don't care about bureau score." You will not find a single person. So people are sensitive about that. The other big thing that the country has evolved last 3-4 years is the bureau. You know, India has 4 international grade credit bureaus in the country. You know, it's like 4 eyes watching you. People bother about it.
Coming back to the business side of the story, and of course, you have raised your provisions, and it's about 77% of PCR that exists on the book. Do you think this is enough to take you forward in the next leg of growth, or maybe you need to add a little more buffer going ahead?
77 is pretty good. On the retail side, people normally keep on the wholesale side, but on the retail to keep 77, like top class standard. But the more important thing is that we find the need for, we intend to stay this way. We are not going to drop our guard at all. Once we achieve this sort of a provisioning coverage ratio, we don't come down. But the important thing is that our provision requirement as such, these days, hold your breath, is as low as just 1.2% of the average book. Now, annualized. Now, I think that's pretty good actually for the kind of business we do.
Coming to the liability side of the story now, of course, you've had good growth on the customer deposits, and I know that you're actually reducing your bulk, so it's largely retail fixed deposits that's adding to this growth. But the CASA front, you saw a bit of a shrinkage, and this is not just for IDFC First; it's for many private banks across the system. Since there is so much fight for CASA now, larger banks coming into the play to try and attract customers. How far do you think this war for deposits, as some analysts put it, how long do you think that will last?
It'll last a while, because you see the credit growth is coming at 17 and your deposit is growing at 10 or 11.
Yeah.
You notice that there will be a pressure on deposits for a while. But it's a good thing, because there'll be enough competition and people will put more efforts to get the deposits and so on. From our bank point of view, we are really very happy with our deposit growth. We sometimes people ask us, really, how can you grow deposit at 40% in this country when there is so much pressure on deposits? And that too, we're not paying great rates anymore. We pay good rates, but I can't call it out of the ordinary. You think of it like the big pack of the big four. Let me say ICICI, HDFC, Axis, Kotak. Think of them as some similar rates. Then you find the next tier banks, IndusInd, Yes Bank, Our Bank, Bandhan, etc. So we are in the middle of the pack. So that's like normal, like many banks are paying it. But then I do believe that our bank we are putting a lot of effort on customer service, customer retention. We almost like fall all over to please customers. I think that a good culture, a good institutional image, and then of course it plays back. It pays back.
Yeah, I was just about to come to that. So, how much do you think interest rate versus? Interest rate was obviously necessary. People do want better returns considering the inflation. But how much do you think customer service plays a role into ensuring that your deposit growth is higher than your peers?
Very. I told you, interest rate we're paying like the market. In fact, our interest rate has come down. We used to pay 7% on the first rupee. Now going up to 10 lakhs, we pay only 4%. Yeah, we are 4. Maybe the top banks are 3. It's not like a massive difference. But still, money is coming. So service is a very big factor. I told you, we really bother about it. There is somehow, I don't know how we got that image, and I'm very happy about it. But people think of our bank as a clean bank, ethical bank. Think of it as an institution. A very big difference. It's not, it's an institution. So if you're all these things are playing a big role in our deposits story. And we don't think this will stop here. I just want to say that to our employees who are probably listening to the program, or even other stakeholders, I want to say that please don't be complacent with all this. It's a start of a long story, let me say.
Okay. Lastly, let me just come to the corporate side of the portfolio. Now, you as a lender have, of course, reduced the wholesale lending book, try to bring in as much retail and SME as possible to sort of replace that and still continue to grow. I'm just curious to understand, considering that the quality cycle is changing as far as wholesale lending is concerned, is that a business that you want to come back to sort of expand that lending scope of lending to that segment?
No, we like it. There's nothing wrong with the business conceptually. And we're doing it also. After we're growing the book, corporate book. We don't want to grow infrastructure, but corporate we're growing also. So, but end of the day, we have a very unique specialization in the way we do. We've been growing something for like 12 years now, and good asset quality and all that. So let me just say, retail and commercial business will be our specialization, will be the large part of the book. But corporate will like it for many reasons. Not just the income, but also the relationship, and also the salary accounts and trade and FX and all that.
Okay, fair enough, sir. Thank you so much for taking your time out and speaking to us.
Thank you, Srinath. Thanks for this call today. And to all your listeners, I want to say that our bank is on a really good track. Watch out for our bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vaidyanathan. Thank you.